Hi, class. It's Teacher Jamie. I want to just briefly review some of what you did in week one, and then I'm going to do a little preview of what you need to do for week two. So, one of the important things that we covered in week one in English 101 was they say, I say. And what you learned was that when you're writing, you're entering into a conversation. A lot of times in high school, you may have written kind of in a vacuum where you were basically asked to give your opinion, but not asked to put that opinion in the context of an ongoing conversation. In college, it's going to be a little different. We're going to say to you, hey, you're getting involved in a conversation about success. Here's what other people have said. Now, what do you say? Right? So in order to do that, you have to be able to summarize the arguments of other people, explain what those they says are, and then you will follow that up with what you say, what I say. And the other thing that they say, I say, that the reading this week went over was this idea of using templates. And they provide you with a number of templates that you can use to shape your writing. The templates are wonderful. I find that students usually really like them. And in the first chapter, there were some templates that showed you how to like introduce standard views or introduce something that's implied. So, there might be one of the templates on page 11 kind of gives you a way to introduce a conversation, right? In recent discussions about success, you know, people who believe this view say this, people who believe this other view say this. Here's what I think, right? So it gives you a little bit of a framework to work with. There are also some templates that help you that are a little shorter and might be used for a thesis statement where you might say, like, while Gladwell argues blank, I believe blank. Or it has become common today. That is like where you'd be maybe not addressing a specific argument of a specific writer, but talking more about a more general belief that's held by folks out in the world. And that's something that you're going to see that Gladwell actually does in the first chapter of his book. The other important thing we did in 101 in week one was I had you watch a short lesson about body paragraphs and read a short lesson on body paragraphs. And this is kind of a crucial piece for developing your writing. Okay. So, what the video showed you was it was a short paragraph about a literary text, and then it had some stuff added to it to make it a fuller paragraph with more supporting sentences and more transitions. So you could see kind of the revision process. I like that video. And what the teacher comes up with is that a good body paragraph should have 11 sentences, a topic sentence, 3 general statements, 6 specific supporting statements, and a concluding sentence. Now, I don't want you to be counting every paragraph to see if you've made it to 11 sentences, but the idea is, you should always have a claim. This is what I'm arguing in the paragraph. Your general statement should be kind of like your reasons for why you believe the thing that you're arguing for. And then the specific supporting statements are evidence that supports the reasons, okay? And then you have a concluding sentence. The transitions get you from general idea to general idea. Just to give you an example, right? Let's say I wanted to write a paragraph that said CCP is a great choice for students, right? I need to be able to support that claim with some reasons. Why is it a great choice for students, right? So I might say, well, here's some reasons. It's a really diverse place, it's affordable, and it's convenient. Okay. Those are my reasons. Those are my general statements. Okay. For each of those general statements, I'm going to need some specific evidence to back it up. If I claim that it's diverse, I need to support that claim, right? So I might show you statistics about the student body. For affordability, I could tell you, hey, here's how much it costs, and here's how much Drexel costs, and here's how much Villanova costs, or whatever. For convenient, I would talk about how it's easy to get here, how it's centrally located, right? Those would all be specific statements that I could use to back up my general claims. And then I would conclude, right? For these reasons, CCP is a great choice for Philadelphians, or something to that effect. That's just the general framework for how you develop a good body paragraph that's kind of easy to follow and logically works. Okay. So just keep that in mind, like throughout the semester. It's a really great, simple way to develop your body paragraphs. And then something I asked you to do in English 108 was basically apply that understanding of a body paragraph, right? I wanted you to analyze your pathway to graduation. So I wanted you to look at the course sequence, and I wanted you to tell me what disciplines you'll be taking classes with, and I wanted you to put that into body paragraph form. So what you should have found out is that you're going to have to take classes across the disciplines. That would have been a topic sentence for the paragraph. And then your general sentences might have been each of the disciplines. So you might have said humanities, you might have said social sciences, you might have said the natural sciences. And then for each of those general statements, you would have had specific sentences, possibly about the courses. Like you might have said, for example, for the humanities, I'm going to take English 108, or public speaking 115, whatever the case may be. In the social sciences, I'm required to take sociology 101. So that would have been how you would have developed the paragraph. And then you, of course, would have wanted to have a concluding sentence and transitions between all those pieces. So those are some of the things that I was looking to have, I wanted you to learn in week one. So I want to now just kind of preview what you're going to do this week for week two. Okay. So I'm here this is English 108, and you'll see week two is about active learning. I have the start here page that's going to list everything you have to do. All of those things are also right here in the module. You'll notice you've got a pre-quiz, pre-test, a post-test, and 3 things to do between where you start and where you end. So the first one is a discussion thread where you're going to complete a couple of short questionnaires. You'll see the links there. And then you're going to read just the first 8 pages of this article that I have linked here, A Practical Guide to Study Skills. Okay. I also added some study questions that might help you through the reading. And when you're done, you're going to do a paragraph here in this discussion thread where you summarize and analyze. And this is kind of leading us up to what you're going to be doing this week in your paper. Okay. So what I'm asking you to do is tell us your results, like basically summarize the results of your questionnaires, and then use what you learned from this reading about how you should be studying to kind of reflect on how you currently are studying. What strategies are you already using? What do you need to do better? Okay. And that's what I want you to do, 1 paragraph. So think about these ideas about what a good body paragraph looks like. And that's how I'd like you to try to respond in this assignment, and then respond to 2 of your classmates. Okay. The next assignment is to annotate the introduction and chapter 1 of Outliers. Okay. And this is kind of going to go into English 101 also, because I'm asking you to do stuff in English 101 with chapter 1 and the introduction of Outliers. Okay. And here I tell you, prior to reading it, you should participate in the study skills discussion, which is linked. And then here I have a video lecture on active learning strategies. So watch this video. Okay. And then what you're going to, the video is going to really talk about how to do annotation. Okay. And then it's going to talk about pre-reading also, and how to process your notes after you've annotated. And then what I want you to do is do those things when you read the introduction in chapter 1. And then what I'm asking you to do here is upload your process notes at the end. And you're not going to know what that means right now until you watch my video, and then you'll understand what I'm asking you to do. But basically, I'm asking you to pre-read the chapter, to then read it and annotate it, and then at the end, to process your annotations and your notes and just upload that here in this assignment. And then the last thing before the post-test in English 108 is another discussion thread. And here I'm asking you to enter the conversation about success that Gladwell is entering, right? So a number of academics in psychology study success, right? Gladwell is a journalist. He's kind of reporting on it. There are people like Carol Dweck and Angela Duckworth who have become very popular for their ideas about grit and growth mindsets. And so below, I've linked to some videos about their work, and then I've also linked to a radio interview with Dr. J. Luke Wood, who's a professor who has gotten into this conversation with Dweck and Duckworth to, and you'll see he has a slightly different opinion. So I want you to see some other people thinking about success maybe in a different way or similar to Gladwell, and I want you to contribute to this discussion. And I give you a lot of different ways that you could choose to do that. So, I say here's some possibilities, but feel free to go in any direction. So I asked you, you could generally like reflect on the ideas put forth by the different authors. You could think about how they agree or disagree with Gladwell. You could make other connections from your own life or from other classes to the material. You could just talk about whose ideas you find most interesting and why. And all this is going to help you get into this material, which is going to help you with your first paper in English 101. So that is English 108. And then I want to also walk you through English 101. So let me get you over here. Let me get it on the student view. Okay. So in 101, so we're up to week 2, right? And um, the you can start with the start here, right? The week 2 overview, which has links to everything and just a little description of what you're going to try and do. I try and put it in the order that I think makes the most sense. If for some reason you want to try something different, go for it. What I start with is the essay assignment, okay, which is what we're going to be working on the next few weeks. And I just am basically asking you to read the assignment so that you have it in mind as you're reading Gladwell, right? So for this first assignment, you're going to be asked to respond to an idea in the first chapter of Outliers, right? And I say for this paper, address the following question. Do our families and the people outside our families who choose to mentor us help us mean more or less than the work we put into our developing of our own success? Okay. And, I just want you to read through this so that you understand what it is that you're going to be asked to do. And by the end of this week, we're going to try to have a draft. It's about a 600-word essay, so it's like roughly 2 pages. It's usually about 300 words a page. And I want you to have this assignment in mind when you go to read Gladwell. The next thing is some additional guidelines that talks in a little more detail about how to go about the paper, okay? And then there is a quiz. This is basically asking you to read chapter 2 of They Say, I Say. Last week you read chapter 1, now you're going to read chapter 2. I've also put a link here if for some reason you still haven't been able to get the book. And so basically read it and then open up the quiz and complete it. And then that chapter 2 is about how to do summary. And so then I'm going to ask you to apply your understanding from They Say, I Say, and do a summary of the Matthew effect, which is chapter 1 of Outliers. And that's going to get incorporated into your paper. Okay. So that's going to be, summary is like kind of the first level skill that you want to kind of master in English 101. We want to be able to summarize, then we want to be able to respond. So you're going to do the summary. Then there's going to be a discussion about birth date cutoffs. This has to do with something that Gladwell talks about in the Matthew effect, so it may not make sense what I'm asking you to do until you've completed that reading. And then I've got a few things for you to do that are going to help you get moving on the paper. So the first one is a brainstorm where I ask you to, after you've completed your summary, right, I want you to kind of do a brainstorm that relates to your I say, which is what you'll do in your paper where you're going to respond, right? So I say, what matters more to our success? Where we're from or who we know or what we do or how hard we work? Do our efforts make no difference at all? So I want you to just write for as long as you can. 300 words, I say, is to go as a goal, right? Brainstorming is basically a process where you write without judgment. You just keep writing, even if it's garbage, even if it's nonsense, okay? And sometimes you get to some really good ideas that way. So you're going to do the brainstorm. And then the last 2 things are a little exercise on doing thesis statements, just to teach you a little bit about that, because that's going to be important. And we'll be talking about that more in the next few weeks. And then the last one is also a short activity just around plagiarism and just making sure you're familiar with like what is and isn't plagiarism. Okay. So there's a decent amount to do this week. I would say you might spend 6 hours in each class. You might spend a total of 12 hours. You might spend even more time. I'm not quite sure. It's going to vary for everyone, but I just want you to, have a sense of what the expectations are, right? Remember, we've got 2 classes. There's going to be a lot to do. On Wednesday, we are going to do a check-in. So if you have questions on Wednesday, if you start the work this week and then you have questions, we can address them on Wednesday. Of course, get in touch with me at any point during the week when you need to. And good luck.